1, 2, hey, sure. 3, that looks good. Coming to you. Ready, 3, and take 2. On 2, you're live. Jackass!
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. It's the Showtech Show here on the Lone Star. It's Sunday night, so we're doing this thing live after an extended holiday hiatus, but we're glad to have you back.
Oh, thank God.
Scott, how you been, my friend?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm living the dream over here.
Oh, I know that feeling.
So you've been running shows left and right, and you're getting teed up for the Column Awards next weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that later on the show, but we got a lot of good stuff lined up, some back catalog of news, and then you've got a lot of product information about some stuff that's been generously donated. So
the Column Awards are actually on the 21st.
The 21st. Oh, I'm sorry. So well, coming up fast and furious nonetheless. I've got some just some new tech products that have come out over the last few weeks.
Anything good?
Some stuff of interest to me, and then also interesting little Super Bowl tidbit I picked up. So
did you get that drone video?
The which one? I'm sure. Let's see if I can get some drone footage going.
Where they attached lights to the drones and did an entire light show to.
Oh yeah. It's lovely. It's great.
I hate drones.
Well, you're living in the wrong future, because all drones all the time. So without further ado, want to pull up some news and get into next?
Sure.
All right, because this is oh man, it's been a while. I forgot how this works. So this is a little segment that we like to call Next.
Next!
That's not how that's supposed to work. Anyway, so let's see.
Does that go backwards?
Yeah, it was dropped before video, but trying to keep it interesting.
Oh.
So let me pull up this little.
God, it's almost like Jordan's back.
I love that. I used to be like the crap producer, and you'd always throw me under the bus, and now it's about throwing Jordan under the bus. I like how this is going in my favor.
Yes, there we go.
So let's see.
What do you got? Show me.
Nokia, the phone company of yore, they have started demonstrating live VR broadcasts. This is out of TV Technology last month, December. Yeah, you can see when I started doing show prep for this show.
Wow.
Yeah, we're a little backlogged here. So Ozo is a new virtual reality camera. The company's not really focusing on feature phones anymore. They're jumping into this virtual reality 360 live video thing that I've been kind of thinking about for the last year. And $60,000 camera. Smaller than a human head, weighs less than 10 pounds, outfitted with 8 synchronized progressive scan, global shutter, 2K by 2K camera sensors. So it's like a double 1080p resolution sensor, shoots video at 30 frames a second. The idea behind these things is you stitch the video together, and you've got high definition in 360 degrees up and down, anywhere you would care to look. But the thing here is they're starting to now find ways through better compression technologies and more and more bandwidth becoming available to the consumer, even over cellular networks, 4G networks, things like that. Live streaming this stuff. So there's a live event happening now. Instead of having a camera package, you have a 360 camera in the middle of it, and then viewers can virtually pan around as if they're standing there watching the thing happen live.
You lost me at $60,000.
So yeah, this is sort of a niche application at this point, I guess it's safe to say. $60,000. But for a professional event camera, that's certainly not outside of the realm of reasonable what you would do. And this is basically, what was it? 8 2K cameras, so my math says one HD camera can run $5,000, say conservatively. So double that, 10,000 times 8, that'd be 80,000. You're saving some money. But so I've been seeing this stuff. It's on YouTube. It's kind of common to see these YouTube videos out there now. Jesus.
What is it? Warm?
No, I went biking today, so I've got helmet head.
You got more than helmet head. You look like ass.
Yeah, I got the helmet made me bald head. So anyway, you've been seeing these 360 videos on YouTube now. If you're an Android user, where you can see these shots that were recorded in derp 360 video, and then after the fact, you can kind of pan around with your phone, and as you're panning, in real time, it takes you to a different view. If you have those cheap virtual reality cardboard headsets, you can slide your phone into that and basically have VR. Oculus Rift, that's kind of like the off-the-shelf thing that's coming out now. But now it's starting to hit the mainstream where this could be a new broadcast standard. This could be a way that people are experiencing events instead of the director's cut, multi-camera, switched things. You've just got a VR camera strategically positioned in the event.
Nokia has the power to do that?
That's what they're going for. Apparently the company is still around. And since Nokia is not exactly known for smartphone, they've kind of fallen out of the consumer electronics market. But this might be their gambit to get back into it. So
who knows?
Who knows? So that's just my little nerd squeal of the day. But I know you don't have a ton of interest in it. But I'll go ahead and say next so we can keep this thing moving. We do have a ton of news.
Next!
Timing. That was timing, my friend. That is how you're supposed to do that. So
looks like Jordan's back.
Yeah. I'll go through my deck here, and we'll kind of play catch up to your, because you've got your stuff's more relevant for today. But have you ever used the Kai Pro from AJA? It's their hard disk recorder, little tabletop thing.
You know, I haven't.
It's I've used them on a couple gigs, just kind of for ISO recording cameras, and it's straight to hard drive. They started off as little spinning hard drive things, and then they had solid state proprietary hard drives. Well, they have phased out that model in favor of the Kai Pro Ultra is the new unit that's been released now, and same idea of the desktop based you can see the form factor there. Just a small thing with a built-in monitor now. That's nice. The original model just had a little LCD readout there for settings and things like that. This actually gives you
4K.
Yeah, it's a 4K recorder. It takes fiber, HDA, SDI, HDMI, so very capable analog audio mixed down to it if you'd like.
You are recording, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm recording.
Hold on, this thing looks pretty damn. This would be freaking awesome for like live show.
Oh yeah, and that's the application I've seen on them for the longest time. They're about $4,000 without hard drives, but the idea is it's got over here on the camera view just switched, but over on the left-hand side there, you can see there were 2 hot swappable hard drive slots. The idea is you can be recording to one, and then when that one fills up, it fails over to the second hard drive. You pull out the first hard drive, start editing off it, do whatever you need to, download the footage, then put it back in.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So these guys over here on the left. And this one's nice too because it's got
How big of a hard drive?
well, it's variable. They're interchangeable, so we can go to the options and read more about them. Pack media. Let's see, terabyte of fast SSD media. So little terabyte hard drives. They also have Pack 512s and Pack 256 for lower quality things. Oh, this is neat. A compact flash card adapter. So instead of being relegated to the proprietary format of these hard drives, which was never a huge problem. Hard drives are fairly cheap nowadays, and I mean, you're obviously going to plunk down a lot of money for a piece of hardware like this, so the hard drive considerations aren't something extra. But this is kind of cool because if you have a adequately fast compact flash card, slip that right into this little adapter that they offer, and record straight to that. Which is particularly nice if you've got an editing workflow that's already set up for compact flash cards. For some reason, you want to plug that right into your editing machine. But I started getting into this direct-to-edit stuff a long time ago. We started doing our streaming video stuff. We wanted to record everything, and it was in the early days where people were still not very trusting of non-tape-based medium. It's like, I don't know, hard drives crash and hard drives fail. But obviously, it's come a long ways now. And in a setup like we've got here, even for the Lone Star, we've got our video card can take in 4 HD SDI streams, right, from like
Right.
robot cameras or whatever. And it's also got the loop outs, so you could ISO record each of those without, and this is a nice bolt-on piece without having to have a rack full of hard drives.
I'm really looking at it for like the live production aspect. That's
Oh, I think it's a must-have. If you are running a switcher, one of your outputs goes straight to that, and that's just your easy record. No matter whether you're doing broadcast or live venue.
you got your raw synergy.
Yeah, and these things are beautiful. They rent for next to nothing. If you go to a rental house, it's like $200, $300, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's nothing to get these things for the day. So highly recommend. Great product. It's always been a nice standard, and they announced that they're rolling out, or they announced that this was coming out. I think in December is when I started seeing the blurbs about it, and then shortly after that, they announced that the old Kai Pro is going out. But the price point's comparable, and this just means that it's it's more modern and updated for today's technology. So.
I'm all over. I mean, it's rack mountable, so.
Oh yeah, these, and they're very, actually you could probably.
You could probably.
I think you can put
put
two of
two
these
side
in a
by
rack. Yeah,
side.
they're very compact.
I am
it's very
all
cool.
about that. That's well worth the $39.95.
Yeah, man. So I'll go ahead and say next to that one too, so we can keep on rolling. But I think that's a cool one from.
Next!
So, next up on the docket, what else do I have here? AirBar is kind of a cool thing I saw in Digital Trends. Let me pull up their article so we can read a little bit about it. So, obviously, the world's going touchscreen. We're all beep-boop touchscreeny here. But
This is AirBar. AirBar brings touch to your newer
This is
existing
AirBar. I don't know if you got
PC
your
by
ears in.
projecting an invisible light field
Okay.
over the screen. And what's good about light is that it responds
So
to
if you've
pretty
got a
much
legacy
anything.
computer,
So
this
you
is
can
just, I don't know if you can see the base of the screen down there, but this is, it's literally just a little plastic
No,
bar.
all I see is you.
Well, I'm looking at it, and it looks fantastic. So just along the base of the computer there, it's a little, it's a little motion sensor, kind of like you would have on a Nintendo Wii or something like that. And it turns your screen into a touch display, basically. Let me re-rack this here, and I'll mute it because we don't need to hear her telling you about it. But basically, you just set it up there. There's no installation required. It's just a little USB device, and boom, touchscreen. So if you've got legacy hardware and you want to use like a Windows 10 or a Windows 8 environment, this gives you the ability to do it. It doesn't require touchscreen. There's a lady using her kitchen mitt there, which is kind of nice because it's using, I think it's just a little IR beam, but it does the.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this is a Kickstarter.
How much is this thing?
Let's read more because Scott's interested. Whoa! Not a competent scroller. Okay, sorry about that.
You need the touch screen.
I do. Yeah, I know. I really do. The 15.6-inch launch version costs $50.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, isn't that the greatest bolt-on for? Like, well, my situation exactly. I'm using this old laptop, and it's a fine laptop, but I mean, I'm one of those guys who's been hesitant to upgrade to Windows 10.
Turn the thing into a touch screen and off you go.
For $50, that'd be so much easier for doing drops and everything. Just boop, boop, boop. You know.
The touch screen thing, I love touch. Like, we just bought, or we're buying over at the Uptown Theater at Grand Prairie, a new light board.
Yeah.
And we decided to go with the Jan's Vista S3 instead of the i3 because of the fact that we can put it onto a computer that's touchscreen capable, which is going to make everything a lot easier. This touchscreen thing is fabulous, but for those of us who are old, who went and bought 10, monitors that are not touchscreen.
Sure, yeah.
This is the best thing in the.
Yeah, it's a quick. And right now these things are small form factor, but there's no reason something like that couldn't accommodate a 90-inch television.
No,
In fact, I've seen hardware like that they had. They're obviously more expensive systems, but they just set alongside of a large screen display and then turn that into like a big interactive whiteboard. But this is more price for the everyman.
Like my editing station at my office has two 28-inch regular screen monitors. Samsung monitors, they're nice monitors, but to turn that into touchscreen?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of range out there because like a regular LCD screen is almost a commodity nowadays. It doesn't cost you anything, but if you want to get something like a smart television or the touch functionality, that ends up just exponentially increasing the price of this unit. And
Yeah.
if a nice little modular piece like this that you could add on, or even for like the traveler, say you're doing travel presentations and you want to go to a hotel or something, if you had this in your luggage, or maybe a larger version of this at some point that you could slap on a plasma screen on the wall, or just whatever they have available, and then boom, you've got a touch wand enabled thing. But that is AirBar. AirBar is let's see, from a company called Neonode, and it's scheduled to launch in 2016. Is when the 15.6-inch display is coming out.
We should call them.
Yeah, I would
Get one, try it out on air.
For 50 bones, I mean, I absolutely will get one of those for this computer because that's something I've bitched about for a long time. Is just not having the touch functionality, and it's really what's kept me on Windows 7, which I think is kind of a dying option for me. That's not going to be around forever.
Yeah, I upgrade to Windows 10. Trust me.
Yeah, we remember that Christmas debacle, but anyway, that's AirBar for you. So let me go see if I can
next
do
that
my
bitch.
Next, we have in the ShowTech Show notes. I guess we I kind of got excited about. I read a little blurb about ETC's LED engine upgrades for their lights. We already spoke about that.
We've covered
that in a previous episode.
But they came out with the new.
Oh, is that what? Maybe that's what the story was. Because after I started getting all excited about it, I was like, wait, no.
Well, they came out with the Series 2 engine, which we talked about extensively. I love it. The luster package is great. This is the new Source 4 Forward, which bolts onto any Source 4 that you already own with an adapter kit. It will turn
$600 for these little guys.
Any Source 4 into an LED-based light.
And it says it says as bright as one of the 575 water HPLs, 70% less power.
I played with some the other day. If you do not have the money to upgrade to the Source 4 Series 2, this is a very viable answer for you. You don't have to replace lenses. You don't have to do anything but bolt it. There's an extended bolt that you use.
Okay.
That screws into a slot to your screw slot already and extends it. And this just pops in. It's brilliant. And to top this off, it's DMX controllable as regular dimmer.
You're going away from me. Okay, sorry. The mic was cutting out for some reason.
Can you hear me now?
I can't. It sounded like you were making a good point, so I didn't want the viewers to miss it. Okay. DMX controllable.
It's DMX controllable, so you can 5-pin into it, which is great. Unless your theater's not set up for DMX, you can actually plug this thing into a regular dimmer, and it still dims on the same curve that your 575.
So if you want to just use it as a... So are these RGBs, or are they...
This is just white.
Okay, right. Yeah, okay.
So you're still having to gel. You're still having... That's where the difference is between this and the Series 2.
That's
the Series 2 luster package.
That truly gives you an RGB
color.
light in a par, or in a ellipsoidal package.
Now, this is a cheap alternative to bringing your theater, your school, your whatever you want to call it, up to LED light without having to make all the changes that you have in the Series 2.
Right.
The Series 2 is bright. I love the Series 2. That is my favorite ETC fixture out there right now. But this is a good alternative. It's under $600 to convert.
Yeah. I think if you've got some legacy ellipsoidals out there, or can acquire some, a $600 upgrade to get a really nice LED-based system. Maybe you're in an environment with limited power. Maybe the heat's an issue. maybe the lamp changes or just eating your lunch. Maybe you've got fixtures that are in places that are just difficult to change. You know,
Right.
maybe you're not in a theater. Maybe you're in more of a like a mall kind of venue, something like that. Obviously I'm big on the idea of LEDs, but
Now,
it's very nice.
like I've said before, LED technology is new. So you have to remember, we don't know what the lifespan is of these LEDs that are coming out because they're new.
That's true.
We haven't
Nobody's-
been able to plug them in for 7 years yet to see how long the diodes last. But they're going to last longer than an HPL 575. You're going to get the same color temperature, the same wattage out of it as a 575 at a third of the cost.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to run a hell of a lot longer than those lamps. So I mean,
If you were to add up what you're going to spend in that Source 4 fixture over 15 years in lamps, you've already spent what it costs for the Forward. It's a no-brainer. This is they are the first company to come out with a good retrofit.
yeah, you're still ETC
Answer.
brand. I mean, it's still the gold industry standard lighting fixture, and now you can bring it into the 21st century strongly. So, very cool stuff. for
Thank you,
sure.
ETC.
Absolutely.
Next.
All right. So, you just drink a little beer. I'm just going to go over to me. You just drinking. Still drinking. Oh, another one. Okay. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Okay. So, this was in What the Hell News, a little story about the upcoming NFL championship game.
Oh, God.
Have you seen this noise? Let me pull it up on the screen here. They are electing to do their halftime show with volunteers instead of stagehands, which that act looks incredible. I'll check that out for sure. Oh, it's Coldplay. Yeah, I can see why people don't like it. 500 local fans are wanted to volunteer to move and assemble the stage for mid-game performance featuring Coldplay. How's that sound to you, man? Dangerous? Sketchy? If you're not quite sold on it, let me read to you some of the finer points here. The applicants must be 18 years old, able to lift 50 pounds, and make 9 different rehearsal sessions leading up to the main event. So it's not just like, hey, come on out, we'll throw you in here and you can help us move this thing. It's like, no, you need to be here for rehearsals. You need to make tech rehearsals. This is all volunteer. We're not paying you for any of this. If selected, the opportunity does not include tickets to the game itself. You have to come pay to be a volunteer at this.
Where are we doing the Super Bowl this year?
Levi Stadium in the Bay Area in San Francisco. Yeah. So,
I am not.
what the hell is
I
wrong
am
with these
not
people?
a big fan of IATSE. Never was, never will be.
Okay. It can't be that bad.
But
Where you're asking for volunteer labor. Really though, you need people to be there. Like, it's the quality of labor is enough that you need them to be there for rehearsals, so that they. I mean, this is not just like any homeless guy off the street can do this work.
this is going to put me on a rant.
I thought it might. That's kind of why I inserted this piece. And go.
And everyone knows that I fight for stagehands to keep their jobs. I fight against people coming out with things like automatic follow spot followers or whatever you want to build, because you're putting people out of work. You hire IATSE for the simple fact of you're hiring people that know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, this seems like a classically bad.
You are the NFL.
Act like it.
You can afford it. It is ridiculous to put untrained people into. Do you have any pictures of fallen stage?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Pictures do you want to go through?
I mean, part of me, I don't want anything bad to happen to people. Like, these volunteers don't deserve anything bad to happen. But part of me, we need to see a horrible thing happen here, so people are like, stop being cheap, just stop. If you can't afford to do it right, Super Bowl over, everybody go home. We'll try again next year. We'll raise prices.
Absolutely ridiculous
I will
at
not,
the amount of money that is coming in for this thing that you would not pay 50 stagehands to come in and do a show. It's ridiculous.
Money can't be an object at this level. And if it is, fire whoever is in charge of crunching those numbers. That is ridiculous.
And
that's Wait, you're cutting out again. Hold on. Let me I'm just going to do this. And drinking. That's ironic because the technical difficulties slate is the Simpsons bit with the drunken cameraman. So to come off of that to see you drinking is like, I don't know what happened. But
I was just about to bitch out the NFL. So.
Yeah, please continue with that. Technical difficulties aside.
Honestly, I don't know if the NFL is the one that's setting this up or if
this is Coldplay or NBC or
the owner, the venue in San Francisco.
This is 500 volunteers, by the way, too. So, still though, 500 people. You probably could just pay 50 IATSE guys to do the same thing, more professionally and safely. But I guess I just there's no words. This level.
Thank you, NFL, for putting more stagehands out of work.
Yeah. That's why I don't like sports. And while I'll be boycotting the game this year, I'll be watching my commercials on Hulu. And I don't care about the Broncos or the Panthers, but
I'm
it's my solidarity.
I am so burnt up by this right now. I
had you heard this before?
No.
I read this and I was just like, what the?
No.
What the actual hell, guys? It's stupid.
You're telling people to not go take that rigging certification because you don't need it. You can be a volunteer.
Yeah, and then to add insult to injury, we don't need professional labor, but you are required to be here for 9 separate rehearsals, and we're not going to give you tickets to the game. What the hell? Why would anybody do this? Like, how bad do you need to get within smelling distance of Coldplay that this sounds like a good idea to you?
It just it irks the hell out of me.
Well,
it's part of that irking is this week was the anniversary of I cut my thumb off.
Oh, you're still
at
celebrating?
The Dallas Theater Center, back in 2000, and it was just a little accident.
It grew back.
But it grew back.
That's fortunate.
It was a little accident, but it happened. And at that point in time, I said to myself, that's it. I am never letting another accident happen. And since that date in 2000, not one person's ever been hurt on one of my shows.
Good. That's the way it should be. I mean,
and that's...
You learned the hard way.
That's
to respect
what
safety.
By not paying professional people to come take care of this, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get 1 or 2 or 50 or 100 people who take pride in not getting hurt at work and not hurting others.
My question is, how many of these people are they going to actually have to sign up for this gig to end up like? Do they actually need 500 people? Because I guarantee they're not going to find 500 people who are like 9 weeks of my life for free. You got it.
They need 500 people because they're not professional. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not going to show up on time. They're not going to do a good job when they're there.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're putting people in danger to save fucking money.
Yeah. When I first read this bit, I was like, well, okay, surely they just need 500 people to show up and hold a candle or do something like that. It was like part of it. But no, it's to rig the stage. It's to set up and move the stage for the halftime show. Like, I don't, and I'm sure there's going to be a large degree of union stage techs there doing some of this work, kind of probably being the crew leads and guiding this force of trained monkeys.
Well, your lighting system's going to be rigged ahead of time. It's going to be...
Yeah. It sounds like this is probably just a monster move, and they're trying for something bigger that just doesn't scale well. But, I mean, you can't plan a job that can't be done professionally. At this level, you need to... Whoever
if you can't afford to do it, don't do it.
Yeah, the production designer should have stopped... Well, this is going to require 700 people to do, but we can do it, right? That should have been... No. let's think of something else, or let's find a piece of machinery that we can use to make this work.
This is what, the 50th
Super Bowl
anniversary?
50. Yeah, this is the big dance, man.
Guess what? We've had acts at halftime for 40, 30 of those years.
What
happened?
I'm not going to watch
What's
this,
the-
but I will definitely
What's
watch
wrong
the.
with some guy walking out on the middle of the field and singing? I mean, you used to have bands do it.
Yeah, why not?
You want
put
to save money? Do that.
a little spotlight, just pin spot them, and
No,
little acoustic guitar.
Instead, we're going to can all of the professionals and have volunteers come and build a stage that somebody's going to fall into.
Yeah, this is going to be a train.
This is a disaster. And this is what you get when you put penny pinchers in charge of safety.
Yeah, it's disgusting to my soul.
You better next this.
There's a time we take a guy like you out back and beat you with a hose. Now you got your goddamn unions.
All right, we'll go ahead and say next then.
Next!
Now I've got my timing down. All right, so that's enough news, I think. That's kind of what's going on in the headlines this month. But let's talk about what's going on. We got Column Awards coming up on the 21st.
Sure.
You're a big part of that this year. You're serving on the board for that outfit.
Huge.
Very cool. Huge. These numbers are huge.
I am
It's gonna be huge.
in Japan.
Wow, gross. So talk to me about, you guys have I'll let you tee this up. Talk tech to me.
What do you want to know?
Talk techie to me about your lights. What are you guys doing for lighting this year?
I have just finished my plot for the Column Awards, and with help from Philips Entertainment, we will be sporting some new lights this year for the column.
This is mainly from their Showline series, correcto?
Correct.
Which
Correct.
I'm excited about.
We are actually going to be sporting several Showline Nitro Cs, Showline Nitros, the Showline Stage Bar 520, as well as some Varilite VL770s this year.
Yeah, I'm looking at you got the spec sheets printed out for me here, and I'll kind of bring them up on the screen as you're talking about them, but looks like a great array of lighting. It's really going to kick things up a notch. I mean,
This is going to be...
They always do a good show. I mean, it's always cool to see. I've seen the videos of these presentations, and it's not hack worthy at all. This is an event in the North Texas area.
This is going to be the largest Column Awards I think we've ever done. And I'm sincerely thankful to Philips Entertainment, Varilite, and their Showline series for sponsoring and becoming the official lighting manufacturer for the Column Awards. But the Nitros come in two packages. You've got the Nitro C and the Nitro regulars.
510C. Is that where
Yep,
they're at?
510C and the 510. And the 510C is very interesting because it has a very condensed beam, but it's colored. It's a strobe that's colored. Give me a strobe with color. Red, blue, green, you got it.
All right. So what'd you get?
It can do it, and it can... The hookup patterns to these, you're able to hook them in line to become an array.
Oh, very nice. Here's what we're seeing on the screen now. So these are the 510s, the regular 510s.
Those are
that
the
up right
regular
now.
510s there.
And then I believe they've got the luminaries up here. This is what the video is supposed to be. They show it the color mix.
And that just, I mean,
That's going to add a lot of nice flash to this. Is that how you're going to... What is your plan for
I'm
these?
not doing it the way
Not
that
the
I have
array?
the plot drawn. I have two battens
Okay.
full of these white SLs that will shoot at the audience.
Kind of looks like they're trying to signal the mothership in Close Encounters right now.
So we'll have these in different arrays and patterns,
Cool.
pointing at the audience. The SL520 or our 510. Here's the 520 bar.
Oh, okay, that's the big
installed in the center.
bars. That's cool.
Those bars, each diode output is individually controlled, so I can
cool.
I can do funky things. I'm actually using those on the floor since their output is 8,000 lumens to shoot up and basically
Kind of like
make
a wall wash.
Basically make a curtain of light.
Okay, cool.
But because each node is individually controlled, I'll be able to do rainbow effects or different stuff all the way across. It's going to be absolutely fabulous.
Fun. Totally.
And then, like I said, the 510Cs are the colored strobes, which I am actually using as downlight on the whole acting area.
Okay.
To be able to flash different colors. And one of the nice things about the 510 series, the strobes, is that they have an all-on intensity. So you can actually leave them all on like a regular light and turn them back into a strobe anytime you want. It just gives you a very narrow beam of light. So we'll have a bunch of different areas with that. Like I said, the SL520, the bar, this thing is incredible. I was over at Varilite's office the other day, looking at stuff, and they are just bright as all get out. You have your RGB W color mixing, but what I love is each cell is individual. So we're actually going to be able to use this as a huge light curtain behind everything that's going on. So we have no cyc. We're not using a cyclorama at all. We're going to basically do a smoke curtain behind people. And
oh, there you go. So the rainbow effect.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's really an awesome piece of equipment that
very versatile, very small form factor, and it's so awesome what you can get out of these fixtures nowadays.
My gosh, this thing just really blew me
Star
away.
Trek, man.
Well, and if you're looking at a theater or a concert hall or something like this, this could be one of the perfect downlights for you. Where, if you remember in high school, you used to have the strip lights, the red, blue, and green, all point. Boom.
Yeah.
A quarter of the wattage. These things are only 300 watts apiece.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, that's just, to me,
your facilities will thank you for not overwhelming the power grid.
They're going to be real happy.
They're going to last.
They don't have a lot of power. Now, the last item that we're getting is the Varilite VL770, which same 700 MSR lamp that's in the VL250s, the Max 700s, any of the medium range lights that are out there. But this light has a lot to offer. With the prism package in it, with the zoom capabilities, it's going to be absolutely perfect for the venue that we're walking into, where our trim height is 30 feet.
Oh, wow.
The VL770 actually comes in a CMY package, I do believe.
All right, I'm going through YouTube videos trying to find some good clips to back.
Well, that's
here.
okay.
I just go to their still site here.
I'm looking it up, but it's CMY capable, so any of the colors in the spectrum we'll be able to do with this thing. This is the first Column Awards where we've had hard edge spots being a part of the show, and I'm excited to be partnered with Varilite to be able to do this. Remember, everything at the Column Awards, all of our proceeds that we make go to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. So
very important.
Once Varilite heard that, they were like, you're in our hometown, we want to help. So
yeah, it's a good local legit
That's an interesting.
There we go.
Uh,
It's too big for my monitor. There's a nice beauty shot. There we go. Show a little bit of the.
but the nice thing is that we're doing the show at the Granville Arts Center, which has no high power.
Yeah.
So everything that we're bringing in, theaters around the Dallas-Fort Worth area or across the country would be able to bring in the same instruments and be able to run them off of a regular 120 plug.
And obviously too, big part of Dallas is the bars and the music venues around here, and those typically are very challenged for power as well.
Yeah.
Not only do you have to run a lighting grid and accommodate any number of bands that are coming through this fairly large city on the touring circuit, you're powering the bar and the kitchen and all the rest of the house too. I mean, there's not that much juice on the grid left over for the poor little lighting guy. You can do some really monumental stuff with low power.
That damn air conditioning.
Yeah, I know. Some jackass turns on the popcorn machine and it all goes down. But
there's no air conditioning in here though.
No, we don't need air conditioning. It's the winter time, Scott. I think I probably still have the heater on. That's my bad.
But yeah, there were several companies that actually had interest in helping with the show. So
good.
Well,
it's what is it? The 17th year now?
This
is awards of the awards show. I think it was the
17th. I think.
Yeah, I think this was because we did the 16th award announcements last year. So this is the 17th.
17th annual Column Awards.
Very cool.
So we're excited
An
about
icon.
being a part of that.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a good year, I think.
The night's gonna be a good night. Well,
but
so
there's,
I want to dispatch you with the GoPro unit for this event, so you can set that up on your desk or whatever, and film some of this stuff that you've got going on with these things. Just get some B-roll to send back to Varilite and maybe use on the Show Tech Show. It's you do good work, and I always like watching it. And I think anytime you get a chance to play with some cool toys like this, it's worth archiving. So
give me the toys.
Give me the toys. We'll use them cool. And that's how you get known to be a product reviewer.
Well, thank you very much.
So, very cool. Okay, do you want to transition smoothly into our next segment here and talk about contracts?
Yes.
For
what
production
people?
Folks?
Today was the day that we were actually revamping all of our contracts over at Davis Lane Designs, and I was
had the legal team over,
kind of intrigued.
sitting in the boardroom.
By this, yeah.
Big jam session with 12 guys sitting around. Mr. Davis.
The board was there. All two of us.
The cheese board.
But we started talking about the fact that we had not redone our contracts in years. And
oh, really?
I went and took a look at our contracts and was like, wow, there's stuff in here that's totally stupid.
Stuff that just doesn't apply to the modern
So we ended up going through, and you have a copy of
I'm reading along
our
here.
contract. I went along through and was like, this is something that I think we need to talk about with everyone, all of our viewers. Contracts save your ass. And as we started going through ours, we started realizing that there were probably 15 shows last year that we did where contracts weren't even put out. And the contracts are there to save your butt. So we went through today and actually revamped some of our stuff. And I thought it would be good for us to sit down and talk about what we actually put into our contracts. I don't know if you do contracts for Lone Star or if Danica. Oh wait, she'd have to show up.
We don't actually do money. Danica's not here? Oh my god, I thought she was just extremely quiet tonight. And wearing a green sweater.
She's green screening. So I thought it was important.
That was weird. I got a little Star Trek action.
Now you can see Danica.
There you go. Nope, she's definitely not here. That's weird. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well, now we know.
So I thought it was important for us to go over the different areas in a contract that you really need to have in there.
Yeah.
In our contracts, they're set up by different sections. So
Very nicely laid out.
section 1 is the service agreement. What you're agreeing to do. Whether that be rentals, whether that be a full full-on production.
So this is pursuant to a quote you've already sat down and kind of spoken verbally to the client and laid out on paper kind of an itemized list of what you're providing.
Yeah.
And so this is the actual, now if you want all this, sign here. Okay.
And that's where the key comes in. Sign here.
Yes, sir.
So under section 1, we put all of our services. What you're doing for them. Rentals, blah, blah, blah. You can always do an amendment at the end, the addendum, whatever.
Okay.
As far as a rental list, which is what we generally do. When we rent stuff out or we do a design contract, we'll do the design contract and it'll say in section 1, see addendum 1 for all of the rental equipment that's being brought to you. Number 2, most important, section 2, payment. Payment
you
and
will be
terms.
paying for this, of course you do.
People,
With actual cash money.
if
tickets
you
to the
do
show.
not get this in writing, any company has the opportunity. You could put net 15 on your thing. You could put net 30. You could put pay immediately. If it's not in the contract, they don't have to do shit.
Yeah, and that's, key to this industry in particular. You want to think that you do such a great job that people aren't going to be willing to burn a bridge with you. Obviously they're going to pay you promptly because they want to be able to use your services again in the future. But there are just so many people out there, and really technology getting cheaper has just done nothing but democratize the marketplace where there's a million Uncle Bobs out there willing to do the job, do it the right way next.
There are many people out there that
Yeah.
you'll work for that I won't because of the fact that I've been screwed by them.
Yeah, well, and that sucks that it has to come to that.
And
We'll talk about that later, what we do when the contract isn't honored. But it's just kind of teeing it up like, you can't necessarily rely on your expertise and artistry anymore to maintain the money cycle, because someone can just, whether or not it's smart or not, they can very easily burn you and be like, well, sorry, I don't really care if you're not happy and don't want to work for me again because I'll just use the next guy online. There's just another chucklehead out there who's always willing to pick it up. So
exactly,
at least do some due diligence ahead of time.
So
such as
payment and terms is where my company states the total cost of what it's going to cost you, what you have to put down as a deposit, if you have to put down a deposit. But the last thing that I always put in this section is the type of insurance that your client needs to carry. Your client is the one putting on the production. So it is their responsibility.
They need to have the umbrella that covers you and all the other contractors, the caterers.
Correct.
Anybody that causes a fire, it's not coming out of you, it's coming out of them.
So it is extremely important to get that proof of insurance. My company mandates that any producer that I work with carries a minimum of $1 million coverage for that show. And that's just that number comes from me learning over time. If they have $1 million worth of coverage and you have $150,000 worth of equipment damaged, you will most likely only see maybe 70% of that $100,000 that was damaged. Yeah. So always make sure that they have more coverage than you need.
So I will say that your the insurance line item on here, it's the way it's written, it's sort of lumped in with the tax exempt paperwork. You're talking about in order not to, if you want to be tax free, you need to provide written proof that you're eligible for that. But then you also kind of add in the insurance thing, and it seems like the insurance bit needs to be more
prominent,
universal, because because this could be read as like, oh no, I'm paying taxes, so I don't need insurance. Bullshit. You need to be you need to be insured more than anyone. So I might consider writing that into a just making a period and making that a separate sentence.
That may be a separate sentence in itself. I mean,
because what you're saying is right. You definitely, under all circumstances, want that insurance coverage. Doesn't matter if it's a small show or a big one. You don't want that hitting you, because people are sue happy. Like we were talking about earlier, people will sue you if they think there's any reason, and you'd much rather have them hitting a big juicy insurance company than you. So.
Ultimately, my company carries our own insurance anytime we go to a show.
Okay.
But
you don't want to use that though, because that's just going to kill your premiums.
But if it's a failure on behalf of the producer, my insurance isn't going to cover that. If there's a failure in something that we do, my insurance covers it. But I need for that producer, because that producer is the one that's telling you how much weight you can hang over people's head. That producer is the one that's telling you how much power is in the building. That producer is lying to you every 5 seconds because he wants to get the cheapest show that he can for the biggest or for the littlest dollar that he can put out there.
Bastard.
So
that producer,
honestly, all of that stuff, everything under payment and terms, anything that has to do with money needs to be in there.
Yeah. Okay. Then that's right up front too. I like that.
That's
it's
right up
not buried somewhere in the fine print. Like if you can't get through 3 sentences worth of contract,
put that as close to the beginning as possible, because almost 3/4 of the people that read a contract read the first page and they read the last.
Yep.
Anything in between is gravy.
And that's another thing. Look at this. I mean, this is not an insurmountable document. You've got this is a sample. But I mean, it's like 3 pages. You're talking less than 10 pages, probably at max.
If you notice, there's 2 sections, Section 3 and Section 4, which are preloading requirements and designer requirements, which are empty.
And you've got them
because
unpopulated.
it's different for every show,
right?
So
that could get lengthy, but still, I mean, this is not like the end user license agreement for iTunes.
Yeah,
that's 90 pages long that no one's ever going to read. I mean, this is very approachable.
It's not a hard contract
to
read or to understand, and by the end of it, you as a producer know what you can do.
Yeah, no, it's good boilerplate. I mean, it's quality, but it's very plain English. I mean, it's
now designer requirements is where you get your coffee maker and ashtray.
Yes,
along with the hot dogs.
We were talking about the writer game before this, before we went on the air tonight. Kind of the old bit of the artists requesting the green M&Ms in a bowl in their dressing room, so that you can tell that somebody actually read the writers and provided the important shit for the show, like the power and safety items. If they got the M&Ms right, they probably didn't screw up the important stuff.
Mine was always a coffee maker and an ashtray next to the light board.
And tell the story about the I think the most beautiful responsive venue you could do. That's
I was in Pittsburgh doing a show, and I sent my writer out before we got there, and it stated, I need a coffee maker and an ashtray. So I get to the venue. There's a coffee maker there with no coffee cups.
BYO.
Then there's an ashtray with a sign next to it saying no smoking in building.
Was it like a custom printed sign, or was it just one off their walls? They just said right in front of your nose, like, oh, by the way.
It was a piece of paper folded in half. Some guy printed on his computer.
Little smiley
just
face.
To be a dickhead.
There's your ashtray. But you better not be using it for cigarettes.
But I knew that they read the rider.
And that's, hey, winning. That's what you're going for. So, absolutely.
So, and if your rider is extensive, under designer requirements or under artist requirements, you just put see addendum.
Yeah.
I love addendums.
That way you can have kind of the standard contract separate from the specialty things, because they might need closer scrutiny.
On this next page, Section 5, my friends. Section 5, which you guys don't have.
If you'll read along with me on Section 5.
This is probably the most important thing that I see not put on contracts. And that is your client consent.
Wow. Seems like it would be kind of basic, but
you would think that.
Interesting.
But this piece, this bit in my contract has saved my butt about 3 or 4 times from getting arrested for trespass.
Do you mind? Yeah. Do you mind reading this verbatim? Is this company secrets here, or do you want to just generalize it? But it's a good point.
All right. So basically, here's how it goes. You put your client name in, and then it says hereby grants to Davis Lighting Designs and its employees, agents, independent contractors, and suppliers permission to enter the property for the purposes of providing staging services
I'm with you. Staging
listed
services
above. Beginning on, and then you put the date in that you're
it's
starting your load in.
Yeah. Again,
And-
very reasonable, but that gives you bulletproof permission to be there. And if someone gives you static and kicks you out, well, hey, breach of contract.
Absolutely 100% important to get that done, because
They lock you out of the building. You can't get the work done. It's like, well, you said here you'd let me in, and you didn't. So I'm going to need that check now, boss.
and that also protects you in case they don't give you enough time, or they don't give you the time that you've requested for a load-in to get the job done. If the show doesn't go up, your butt is covered.
Yep.
So that was actually a very important thing that I think a lot of people tend to miss in their contracts. The next
I never
part,
would have thought of that.
the
Yeah,
next
that's great.
part's important as well. The client agrees to protect any and all of their valuables, not yours, but theirs, in or about the property by removing them to safe storage before the start date.
So that you can't be blamed for them losing their shit.
So basically what you've done now is you've covered your ass if something in their place gets broken. You've covered your butt because you've looked at them and said, hey, get your valuables out of the way. We're hanging 55,000 pounds over your head. Something can drop, something get,
Oh, yeah, this is an active work site.
The next part, the client acknowledges and agrees that client's belongings may be moved from room to room. I actually added this in after a show at a church that I won't say the name, but it was in Capel, where we walked in and there was stuff up on the altar that if you read the part before saying,
Yeah.
stuff good, we ended up moving it. And they ended up getting really pissed at us because we moved it. And I was like,
Was it like sacred or something? Or?
I hate to tell you this, but we're hanging all of these Max 700s over that, and you don't want one of those falling on it.
Yeah, you're welcome, but I guess, yeah, might as well put it up front just so it's there to protect you. This is all about protecting you, the producer, or the production professional.
Oh, God.
So
those are
clients,
those client
little,
consents.
side note,
Yeah.
you need to put an apostrophe in clients so it's possessive. Copy editor. That's why you pay me, man.
I had a lawyer write this.
We can edit that in post.
Release and waivers. Client further agrees to release, indemnify, and hold harmless DLD its employees, agents,
Waivers. I'm
contracts.
sorry. Okay.
Contractors and suppliers against any and all loss, accidents, damage, injuries, expenses, claims resulting in whole or part directly or indirectly from the staging process.
Okay. That's broad but fair at the same time.
Please
Because-
be smart, because you're going to damage some carpet somewhere.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not saying that you're bringing in people to be reckless and destroy shit. It's you're doing heavy labor, and if there's some incidental damage, then that's presumed. Obviously, you don't have to hire us again if you don't think we were professional enough, but you're not going to turn around and try to sue us for the entire cost of the production because we scuffed your carpet or some BS.
Correct.
So, yeah. And I'm assuming a lot of these come from the dirty tricks you've seen in the past. Like, oh, well, we actually can't afford what we said we'd
Holy
pay
crap.
you, but my carpet has a dent in it now, so we're going to have to just charge you the whole price of the production.
Okay, I just pulled a wire,
Uh-huh. Oh, and you can hear now?
and I can hear now.
Sorry about that.
It's no longer going. I've had an hour and a half of.
My God, this feed sucks. What is wrong with this?
Holy crap! And I can
I
hear.
pledge to you, at one point in the near future, I will buy you the $50 IFB so we can get away from these damn earbuds that just
Thank you.
are not production quality.
Let's move on to the next
They
thing.
feel great. Yeah, next segment.
We're on my favorite section. This one is my favorite. And I put this in to be a dickhead. Photography and publicity releases.
It's important.
The client agrees to allow Davis Lighting Design to photograph stage areas of the property before and after the work is complete, and to use all such photographs for reference and marketing purposes.
That's smart.
Thank you.
I like the next line, too.
The next line gets better. All Davis Lighting Design's light plots are copyright protected. A lighting design is considered artwork and is protected by federal law. Any reproduction, including photography, video, and any other digital media, please add digital media because that's so big now.
Yep. There's actually, I can give you a line out of one of our releases that's good, but it's something about like all media now and existing in the future, something like that. So if they invent holograms tomorrow and this isn't your original thing, like, still covered. That's the boilerplate that they use for that. But yeah, that's smart. Obviously, if you're going to do a broadcast, that's part of the production, and it's understood that that's what is your job, and that'll be included in your quote. But
I was going to say the last line, it states, photographs are totally legal for archival purposes.
Okay. Like security or something like that?
For archival purposes, you want to keep track, hey, I've got this, we did this show.
Yeah.
Here's photos of it. That's fine.
But
if you're going to use it for marketing.
So if this company hires you to come in and put on a light show, and then they take video of that, turn around and say, look what we did, and don't give you any mention. No. That's not archival purposes.
I see so many websites around the Dallas-Fort Worth area with Scott Davis Lighting listed as, this was the show I did.
Yeah. Look at what I did for my show. I hired Scott Davis. But I'm not going to talk about that. It's an important point. That's bullshit in my mind. It's dishonest. But
everyone does it.
Now, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's also why I started copywriting all my designs. It's just it costs you $50 to copyright a design. People, we'll go through that process another time, but take pictures
to actually
of your stuff,
enter it into the patent office or whatever,
or to have it listed in the copy. Yes,
yeah.
And
because I think anyone can claim copyright. It's really just a matter of just saying, you know what, this is my intellectual property. I'm claiming copyright on it. You can also have what we use a lot on Lone Star is the Creative Commons standard, which is you can use this as you can distribute this, share this, whatever you want with attribution. Just say up front where you got it from.
Yes,
I think that's a cool model as well. But all it really takes is just saying it out loud.
Well, and then if you're going to use a picture from a show that I've designed, at least quote in that marketing piece or whatever, lighting by.
I think that's more than fair.
So this right here stops all that. It stops you from going into the grocery store 6 months after you've done a show, seeing this is so and so's play company, and guess what? We're doing plays this year, and here's pictures from our past shows, and nothing ever crediting.
And honestly, it probably won't stop it, but it gives you a leg to stand on to stop it.
It does.
After the fact, and be like, by the way, dude.
So does that $50 copyright.
Hey, if you're putting that much talent and effort into it, then definitely want to protect your IP.
Ooh, you're cutting out too.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
Scott, I can't afford any more batteries.
You bastard.
If I shut down, it's just all you, man.
Let's see here. The next part, Section 8, labor. This section is where you put in whether they're paying for the labor or you're paying for the labor, or they're giving you volunteers. And in this one, this is based off
Client agrees to hire 500 volunteers that must attend 9 things, but they will not get tickets to the show.
NFL contract.
Yep, there you go.
Number 9, cancellation or work changes. Gosh, I don't know how many of these contracts I've looked at where they don't have cancellation. Well, they'll have cancellation in, but they won't have work changes.
Well, and that's kind of the whole summation of all this. Like, if they don't abide by any of this and the show is still going on, that's a change. And if there's no consequence.
We just did a show yesterday over at a theater undisclosed. Anyways, it was a gospel show, and it was a very nice show and all. But when they came to us, the original contract was for one act, 2 hours long, starting at 6 o'clock. Okay, great. We get there. There's 7 bands.
That really escalated.
Their 2-hour show was not finished until almost 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Which, what most people don't realize is that a change like that can affect your labor.
Yeah, a bit.
Can affect your labor
Loadout,
cost.
your rentals, everything. I mean,
It can affect your rentals. So, if you get, like our work call yesterday was for 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we were supposed to be done by 8. Here's 10 o'clock, and I'm still looking at my guys going, well, you're only getting paid this because that's all we're getting. Have this in your contract. That way, if something does change, you can charge them a percentage more to cover your labor cost or cover additional rentals, whatever you need to do. Be smart.
yeah.
And the cancellation thing, here's my deadlines with cancellations. Cancellation must be made 72 hours prior to load-in.
Is that 3 days?
It's 3 days.
Okay.
3 days prior to load-in. Now,
Yeah.
they still lose their deposit. But,
Sure. That's what a deposit is.
there you go. If they cancel after the 72 hours, they still have to pay the full amount of the contract.
I also like that too. If, by the way, we never get your deposit, show is canceled. This is not a show.
And to top that off,
This is all a great conversation we were having about a show that might have been.
if no deposit is received within 2 weeks of the load-in, the show is canceled. There's
What?
no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. I do all of my scheduling for my company, my labor, my people 2 weeks in advance. And if a show has not paid that deposit, it is axed. And I will fill that
You don't have time
up.
for free labor. This has got to be money coming down the pipe, or
No.
else
We've got
we got plenty of volunteer opportunities around here. We
we've
could be
got-
working for this NFL.
We've got 10 theaters in town that we have contracts with to do maintenance, cleaning, stuff like that. My guys will go over there instead.
Yeah. That's good. There's always enough going around where you don't have to be. I mean, maybe that's not the case in every town, but man, it sounds like a smart deal to me. And honestly, I think that your terms are pretty generous in terms of penalties for
Time-wise, yeah.
Well, these last minute changes to things, the 15% penalty. I would like to see something in there that says they're liable for whatever the overrun costs are in total, in addition to an idiot tax of 15%.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I mean, I I think that's because I mean, who knows? I mean, if somebody really
don't-
screws up their change, like, all right, hey, we're here for you all night, Mr. Client. Of course, now the bill has gone from $800 to $3,500.
I don't have that written in there.
Because it's mainly focusing on cancellations, but because this is also the changes section, I think it's worth.
Oh, no, okay, that's something totally different though. That doesn't. I mean, this contract becomes null and void if they change the terms that are in
well,
it.
okay, yeah, then maybe we need to talk about what the. Yeah, maybe
So-
that's okay. We'll keep going.
So if
keep
they
going.
changed,
Let me derail you.
if they changed the dates within 2 weeks of
Sure.
without 2 weeks prior notice, then they get screwed by a 15%.
Okay, so that's just really just timing
my,
changes.
Yeah, that's
okay.
timing change.
Okay.
My cost doesn't change.
Yeah,
I'm
makes
still paying people the same amount of money.
less cost go up.
Last page. Protection of equipment. This is actually a new section in my contracts. I didn't have this section in there before, and it bit me in the ass. Protection of equipment. The client assumes all responsibility for any DLD equipment or any other rental gear used in the production. If any equipment is damaged, the repair is the responsibility of the client.
Now, okay, so I always came from the rental side of things, so to me that's fairly common stuff. But I mean, yeah, you definitely have to have that in there. This is not you don't own it so you can abuse it. We're not Avis.
Well, originally when I
We're
wrote
Davis.
when I wrote the contracts, if there was Davis Lang Designs equipment out there, there was Davis Lang Designs people on hand. Now we're starting to get into shows that run 3, 4, 5 weeks or 6 weeks at a time.
Okay, yeah.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's no Davis Lang Designs people in that venue.
Well, I'm just thinking even too, if you have you're doing a show where you're working the lighting grid and they bring in some pyro guy unbeknownst to you and his flame stack goes up and takes out a mover like we saw happen this week.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, you're not expected to pay for that. I don't care if that guy can afford to pay for it or not. Producer's got to pay for that.
So that was a new
barrel.
section for our contracts, but
Good
I
call.
think it's gonna help out.
That's a keeper.
Number 11 was
General
general provisions. This basically is where we used it to explain payment, stuff like that. The general stuff that everyone has to do. If you're gonna pay us, pay Davis Lang Designs.
Okay, yeah. This is the basics.
This is
now
the
that
basics.
Now that we've gone through the what the terms of this work arrangement are,
Now-
here's how we codify it.
Now there's a section missing somewhere. We added another section, or actually we added another part to one of the sections from earlier, which discusses security.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, and that's kind of implied in the protection of equipment. But because I'm used to seeing security riders on there when you're talking about clients providing volunteers and whatnot, you also can put in something about client agrees to provide security or to have an adequately secured location. So if you do get ripped off, it's not on you again.
Yeah.
The idea here is to offset as much potential
here it
insurance
is.
hits.
We actually put it under general provisions.
Oh, okay.
Client agrees to have all personal property adequately insured throughout the staging process and staging period. Client agrees to provide security on the premises during downtimes.
Okay. Yeah.
This actually came to me from a show that we did in Las Vegas.
Wow.
4 or 5 years
Rough
ago.
neighborhood.
Yeah. We were at the Sands Expo Center, which is attached to the Venetian. And the first night of our show, there was no security. So we were in there actually finishing up the show and locking everything down and all that. And there were people just walking in from the hotel.
Oh, great. Just drifters coming through. Hey, is this where I gamble? Oh,
What?
Lord.
Get the hell out of here, man. I got like 20 freaking Max 700s on stage. Get out of here. So we ended up adding this. Now, somebody actually questioned me on this the other day because they felt that a church or something like that should not have to be required to provide security. I was sitting
Just
back.
by virtue of being a church?
I was sitting back going,
It's
why
probably
is that? They steal
least
from
secure.
churches too.
Yeah, it's probably one of the least secure places in the world because the doors are always open and it's got a general inviting atmosphere.
That makes no sense, buddy.
I guess my answer to that would be, well, of course you're not required to. You just simply are if you wish to engage my services.
Boy, these people nowadays. So anyways, that right there is the Davis Lang Designs contract. On the last page, we force the client to sign it.
In blood. Blood preferable.
But
That's good. This is very interesting stuff. This is a good segment. I like
anyone that owns a business, no matter how big or how small, start doing contracts. These people will rip you off left and right.
Yeah. It's good to, and it's a good walkthrough of just, are these things you're thinking about your setups? Obviously, we invite people out there, if you've got other ideas, send them in, because
Please.
this is important. We need to kind of make sure our brothers and sisters in the production community are all doing things above boards. And I'm sure there's a scam out there that not everybody's seen yet, so it's worth sharing. But yeah, that's interesting to me because that's I typically am a sub to a sub to a sub on shows, so it's nice to see these general outlines. And
well, anymore in this world, you got to protect yourself. But at the same token, you as a business owner have to protect what you've paid good money for.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be making you money. So that's where the contracts come in. Protect your work. Stay out of trouble.
Be good.
I really got to pee.
All right. So let's wrap it up. Another good show this week. Glad we got a chance to slide in here and do this one. Before we get out of here, Scott, why don't you tell them where they can find more about the Showtech Show on the World Wide Webs?
The Showtech Show is on Facebook.
Thank you, Danica. In absentia, she set that up for us. We're now Facebook people.
Yes.
Always been Twitter people. We've got the Showtech Show
on
Twitter handle.
At the Showtech Show.
Tweet us there.
Tweet us.
We do have email if you want to reach out to us the old-fashioned way. That's showtechshow@frontiertelevision.com. Didn't know if that was too small for you. Yeah. Tiny print. I need a smaller domain name if anybody's giving them away for free.
Remember, there's always our home places, too.
And YouTube. We've got our YouTube playlist if you want to catch up on this and past episodes.
/TV Lone Star.
Yes. And that's all we've got for you this week. It's been another fine Showtech show, and we're glad you could join us for it. We'll have many more shows and things coming to you in the future at an undetermined time.
I got to pee.
Okay, pee time. Bye, everybody.